Thomas, one of the main topics that people were discussing about a few years ago was renewable energy.
Right.
That has seemed to fade away over the last couple of years. So what's the situation in 2013 and 2014, considering also the election that took place in Italy and that are taking place in Germany this year?
Well, it's one of the hot topics at the moment. Germany has shut down, as you know, the nuclear power, or is about to shut them down, and is in a process to devise a plan. But the problem is the implementation of this plan and the substitution of the nuclear power by renewables. I see that there will be a variety on transaction and financing needed in order to really bring this forward. And obviously, as you rightly say, as there's a federal election coming on in September, it's going to be one of the hottest topics of this year.
So what's happening to the transactions that are already being worked on? Do you see them stopping, waiting for the election, or do you see them continuing?
I think I see them continuing to the extent that they do not have anything to do with a public rate system. You know, there was a subsidy system, for example, in the solar energy area, and the subsidy was cut down. So, of course, in that area, if you had transactions, they virtually stopped or are being trying to get on a new footing. On the overall situation with the national grids, there just is the problem that there is not enough planning security at the moment for industry, and that of course, if you don't really have a planning security, you don't really know what your average rate of return is, and that of course makes it very hard at the moment for buyers and for investors to invest.
One of the biggest issues in private equity in 2012 and 2011 was the financing.
Right.
Applying it to renewable energy, do you see the same issue? That people are a bit scared to lend money to those? I think again, if you are in this space where there is a sound business model, you would not have a problem finding financing. I mean, if you look at transactions of the year 2012, for example, with one of the gas grids being sold to Macquarie, they of course did not have any problem in getting financing because the regulatory situation with respect to the gas grid is relatively okay. It's stable, and there, of course, if you have private equity investors and pension funds, and then you also have bank financing. Okay. One of the biggest topics, of course, for Germany is the Mittelstand.
Right.
We have seen a little bit of layback in M&A. So, what's your view for 2013 and 2014?
I think Mittelstand will play its role as always. As you know, there's this famous saying, it's the backbone of the German industry. I don't, at the moment, quite frankly, see that Mittelstand in particular is in a big buying or selling mode. I think they are very much realigning their strategies. Family-owned companies, and most of the Mittelstand companies are family-owned, have a very long-term view, and they may sometimes be very slow in deciding, or appear to be slow in deciding when to invest, but once they have decided, they will invest in a longer period of time, and will not be deterred by short-term issues. So I think it's going to be a good year, but I just can't see any indication that it's going to be a huge burst of Mittelstand's transactions.
At mergermarket, we saw a lot of cross-border activity between Germany and the US, but not so much about Latin America towards Germany and the other way around.
Right.
Everyone talks about Brazil, but what's the real story there?
I think, I'll put it differently, I think with the United States, this is of course very known territory to Germans, but it's also very known territory to Americans, also most of the US private equity funds. I mean, they are heavily investors. I think Brazil has a strong and a very good investment climate with Germany. Actually, but you're right. There are fewer transactions. Some people say that with the upcoming sports events, this may change. I also understand that on the tax side, there was a long talk of a run-out double taxation treaty between Brazil and Germany, which made it really tough to invest. So I think it's certainly in the focus, and it must be in the focus of an export nation like Germany, who of course will need to export their goods and services into Brazil. For example, if you see that for Brazil is there 40 years, so it's very well known in Germany.